Okay, today's video we're going to talk about Facebook/Meta shopping campaigns and whether those are any good in general, and the more important thing is whether the regular shopping campaigns are better or worse than the Advantage Plus. It should be Advantage Plus shopping campaigns. So, long story short here, shopping campaigns are good in certain circumstances. Mainly remarketing. I want to explain why that is, and then of course, as you're going to use these for remarketing on Facebook for e-commerce businesses that are selling a diverse set of different products there in your store. The Advantage Plus shopping campaigns are actually better in some situations, and then regular Facebook shopping campaigns are better in other situations, and usually it's just different time frames. I'm going to explain why that is in this particular video as well. So it all just comes down to, specifically your situation, whether you want to use the Advantage Plus shopping or the regular shopping, when you should be using it at all. So with all that said, I'm going to go into the content here. And respectively, by the way, if you choose the right version of the shopping campaigns, the Advantage Plus shopping campaigns will get you 2-3 times more money and profit from what you're doing than regular shopping. And then there's other times where the regular shopping will get you 2 or 3 times more money for what you're doing than the Advantage Plus shopping. So that's what we're going to get into explaining on this particular video. So in general, for general customer prospecting, i.e. you're going after cold audiences, these are people that have never heard or seen of you before, I'd stay totally away from Meta shopping campaigns because they generally suck for generating new customers. Why is that? Because some items, you're much better off going and just finding your best-selling items and only promoting them. Why would you go ahead, and of course you can upload a certain set of items to run the shopping campaign, but generally speaking, what most people are doing is they're uploading all their items to Facebook to run this shopping campaign, okay? And with that, it's really dumb because there's certain flagship items that you sell that are the best sellers. Why would you not want to just market that to somebody who's never seen or heard of you before than to sell all your, to market your shitty items? It makes no logical sense whatsoever when you think about it like that. And there's just certain items that are going to catch people's eye more. They're unique items. They're not boring. So with all that said, the shopping campaigns don't even make any sense, whether it's Advantage Plus shopping or regular shopping. And if you don't know what your best-selling items are because it's close, you go ahead and you go into your Google Analytics account, which you should be using, and just find out what's selling the best, or in your Shopify account or whatever, your e-commerce platform that you're using in the back end, and just find what's selling the most. What's selling the most, not always, by the way, is going to be the thing that's going to make you the most money putting it into a Facebook campaign to cold audiences. You might have to test a few different items because, in other words, the top seller that you sell the most of now isn't necessarily going to make you the most ROI on your Facebook campaigns to cold audiences. So I would even suggest, finding the top 10 selling items and try testing all of those items to see which item catches people's eye the most, and then go with that for my cold prospecting Facebook campaigns. So that's the deal with the prospecting on Facebook. Don't use shopping for an e-commerce business. If you're doing remarketing, however, which you should all be doing remarketing on Facebook, you should be doing remarketing everywhere online, because the more places that people see you, the more credibility they're going to think that you're going to get from people, the more credibility you're going to have, the more likely someone's going to want to do business with you once they've seen you before. Because usually the process is people get to your site the first time, they think what you have is interesting, but they're not ready to buy. And whether they buy or not comes down to a number of different things. Whether or not they think you're the best compared to other options that they're looking for. Sometimes they'll impulse buy. If it's a cheaper item, it's under $100, sometimes they can just buy on the spot. But if you're selling something for over $100, there's a lot that goes into their decision-making process, and they rarely are just going to buy the first thing they see. They're going to kind of look around first. And if you don't follow up with the prospect while they're looking around, many times they'll just forget about you. And if you have somebody else that does remarketing to that person, they're going to win out, because the person that they see the most is the person they're going to think is the leader in that space, and the person they think that's the leader in that space is probably the one that's most trusted, the most credible option, and that most people are using, so therefore they want to use that. So they'll think you're more credible, but they'll also make sure to not forget about you once they've seen you once. Doing all this work to get noticed and then no follow-up, you're wasting literally half of your money that you could get if you had a good follow-up process. And if you watched my channel before, I've talked about many times how you not only follow up with the user with one type of ad, and you don't do it, just beating them over the head with the same thing over and over again, asking people to buy. You want to buy now? No, how about now? No, how about now? Because people hate that, and it doesn't add very much value at all to what you're doing, even though it'd be better than nothing. You come up with several different remarketing ads to show to the person, going over the main things that people are thinking and wondering about when they normally are deciding if they're going to buy or not, i.e., should they trust you, which is why you show your testimonials and reviews, why you show that you have a BBB, A+ rating, whatever there. And then you show ads that talk about your differentiator, why you're better, and you cycle those ads out for the user. You tell that user a little story in your ads, and then that gets them more familiar with your product, especially seeing it multiple times than other people that they may be considering, and then therefore they go with you at twice the rate than if they didn't have that. And to get the most penetration, you do it on as many platforms as you can, because some people don't go to Facebook. Some people only go to Facebook on the web when they're normally just browsing on the web. And so if you don't have remarketing on Facebook, you're losing out on ROI from the campaigns that drive new traffic into your site when you don't have the Facebook remarketing going for your company. So you also do remarketing on Facebook, but you also do it on Google Display Network and in as many places as you can to make sure the new traffic you're driving in converts into a sale at the highest rate possible, and you get the value out of that, because it's very expensive to get in front of somebody and get them to your site. No follow-up, you're only going to make half as much money from that traffic. I just know that from previous experience. So as it comes to remarketing on Facebook, the shopping campaigns actually are just as good as any other remarketing ad that you can run, and certainly beat other campaign types when you have more than one type of item that you're selling. Really more than 10. And the reason for that is because if I'm selling one item, I won't use Google Shopping or Facebook shopping campaigns or Advantage Plus shopping campaigns, because I'll make dedicated ads that can go over each one of those selling points I talked about that we normally have in our remarketing, and I can get across better, easier doing that because I can be more direct. However, when you're selling a lot of different items, it's too time consuming to come up with ads that speak directly to the user on that, for that individual item that they're looking at, to be effective, particularly when you get over 10 different types of unique items. Because if I have 3 or 4 different unique items, I'm going to create that remarketing sequence I told you that you should set up to double your sales that you're getting from your cold traffic you're driving into your site. I'll create different remarketing sequences for people that's depending on which item they looked at on our site. However, when you get 15 different items, it gets to be pretty damn labor intensive to come up with a remarketing sequence like that for 15 different items. Even though at 15 you can still technically do it, but as you get my point. The more items you have, and when I mean different items, I mean like if you have one item that's at 3 horsepower and one at 4 horsepower and they look the same, you could use the same remarketing ads for that and you would be okay. But when you're selling boat paint and floor paint and wall paint, and these are different items, and you go at them with the same remarketing message, it's somewhat effective, but not nearly as effective, obviously, as going after and speaking to them about the exact category of item that they were looking at on your store. And so in that situation, the shopping campaigns do well because it can obviously dynamically show the user the item that they were looking at itself. and therefore it works well in those instances. So if you're in that situation, you want to use the shopping campaigns, okay? So the only question then is, do you want to use the Meta shopping campaign regular campaigns or the Advantage Plus shopping campaigns? And with that, you have to ask yourself the following questions here. So if you have more money than you have time, and you're patient, and you like to wait for a bigger return than get a smaller return now, go the Advantage Plus shopping campaign route. It'll produce 2 to 3 times better ROI with using that specific type of shopping campaign, but only after about 100,000 clicks, because it can optimize at the human level. What I mean by this is a lot of people don't recognize how these algorithms that the ad networks have, like Google, Facebook, and so forth. The algorithms, just like on Google search, they're able to not just show one ad to people effectively. They can look at when somebody clicks through an ad and buys, or just clicks through the ad showing, which indicates interest level and relevancy. They notice the type of person who clicked through and bought, and what traits they have. How old they are, what's their gender, what time of the day it is that they click, because that has a difference. Maybe certain times of the day that they wouldn't click on that, whereas other times of the day they would. What other items did they click on while they were on Facebook, which is it's a really big part of this. And so over time, they basically understand when certain people should see this item versus other people should see this item. And so they break it down on an individual user level, and they can optimize in ways that you can't as a human do it. So, but it takes a lot of data for these machine learning algorithms to learn how to do this. You're not going to get this done in 1,000 clicks. That's why you need 100,000 clicks. But when the system gets 100,000 clicks, and it has all that data, it can draw really strong conclusions about what types of people like what items, and what items to therefore show to certain people, as well as when to never show an ad at all, and like who's the people specifically that respond to the items that you sell. Every person that comes to your site isn't going to necessarily respond to a shopping ad while they're on Facebook, because there's certain levels of people, there's certain degrees of or levels of interest in the people that you get to your site, and they'll pick out which ones have more interest versus less interest, so they'll know who to show an ad for and who not. And then the ones who do get to see an ad, which specific ad should they show, what placement should it show on, what ad type or what should the ad look like, all of that, and it does it all for you automatically. So the higher return can come, but obviously most people are in a situation they can't wait forever for a good return. So if you go the regular shopping campaign route, you can narrow down the best ad types and the placements that generally work the best after about 3,000 clicks already, and then get 2 to 3 times better ROI up front than you can with the Advantage Plus shopping campaigns, because you did a little bit of optimization manually on your end. So what a lot of times we do to kind of get the best of both worlds is we'll start out with a regular shopping campaign, get that working, set up an Advantage Plus shopping campaign, put the budget at like 10 to 20% of what we're spending on the regular shopping campaign, and just let that campaign run. Eventually it'll beat the regular shopping campaign because it can optimize at a level that we can't do as a human, and then we can just shut off the regular shopping campaign and go to this Advantage Plus campaign right away. So that way we don't run out of money, so to say, or just, because, obviously if you have enough money where you can run at a loss for a while, it's no big deal, then you just go for the Advantage Plus right away, because you'll get to the end goal where you want quicker. But if you need to make some money, generally what happens with running online ads, you try to do the stuff that makes money, and then the more speculative stuff, you use the money from the stuff that's guaranteed to work quickly usually, or the easy stuff to get to work, to finance other more speculative stuff that works but takes more runway. So the Advantage Plus shopping campaigns, in other words, just take more runway, and so you can take the money you're making from regular shopping and reinvest it in getting the Advantage Plus shopping to work, because it takes a little bit more data, and it's going to take more money invested into it before it works, but when it works, it really works. So that's the difference between the regular shopping and the Advantage Plus shopping, given if you're wondering why the Advantage Plus shopping doesn't work quickly, is because they don't actually give up on certain placements or certain ad types right away quickly. They want to try everything, and they don't start really narrowing things down for a long time. Whereas you could generally find certain ad types that just are the better ones for you and your type of product that you're selling, and ones that are not, and then just eliminate the ones that are not quickly. Same thing with the placements that you have. Same thing with the devices specifically as well, if you want to add that in there too. So you could fire the parts of your campaign that aren't working well quick, and not stick with them too long. Given you're basically treating everybody the same. You're saying overall this ad placement works as a whole, but what the Advantage Plus shopping does is say, well, 80% of the people do like this ad type, but the other 20% like this ad type. So these 20% of the people, we're going to show this other ad type, whereas the other 80%, we're going to show them the other ad type. And so that's why you're getting more out of the Advantage Plus shopping. So you just can't do stuff that you can do on your own, optimizing the campaign yourself. So that said, that wraps up the entire kind of discussion about should you use shopping, is the regular shopping better, or what's different about that versus the Advantage Plus shopping, and when and where to use it, and what are the benefits of using it, where you're going to be able to make money, and which one makes more money in what situations. But what do you guys think? If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person that leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days. If you liked the video, I'd appreciate it if you would give it a like and consider subscribing, as I have a ton of other content on this channel that can teach you a lot about how to make money with ads. It's the most practical advice you're going to find on YouTube, as it's coming from someone who manages several dozen PPC accounts at any given time for clients at our agency, and I'm strategizing all of those individually on an ongoing basis. So I know the stuff that works versus stuff that doesn't work, and that's what this channel is about, is giving you the practical information that we find, so you don't have to do testing on your own, so to say. And so with that said, you should subscribe. If you like the channel, you'll like the blog I have on guaranteeppc.com/blog. If you need a PPC agency that actually can get results, not these bullshit results that 90% of agencies out there are getting, but actual results that can actually be guaranteed, you can go to our firm at guaranteeppc.com. I'd be happy to give you a quote on getting some results for your campaign, and we can actually stand behind the results that we're getting for you up front. And and what that specifically looks like is we usually will guarantee a client so much more sales results on their campaign up front, or they don't have to pay anything. So, basically what we put our money where our mouth is. You don't have to pay us until you have already earned more than what you're going to have to pay us anyway. So it's really a no-brainer situation if you're serious about working with an agency long-term and you want the best agency you can find. So reach out to me. I'd be happy to speak with you. We don't take on everybody, but I'll see what I can do for you and let you know what kind of results I can get you. That's it. I'll wrap it up. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you on my next video where we have another great PPC idea for you there. See you later.